I'm very excited to welcome you to the online boot camp for one-to-one Chromebooks at Sioux Falls Christian. We've had great success in the phase one of our project so far, and so we're excited about the next phase. First of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about the mission and how this fits in with that. Our mission at Sioux Falls Christian says, with God's Word as our foundation, Sioux Falls Christian Schools will provide a Christ-centered, excellent education, partnering with the church and home to equip students for service to Him. What we're excited about is how technology can also help us with that. So many of the things that we do are focused on the excellent education, but being Christ-centered is the most important part. And so we hope to, through our one-to-one Chromebook program, help students to use technology discerningly to honor Him. So why one-to-one? We took a survey of all parents in middle and high school last year, and over 2/3 of parents strongly or completely supported having a one-to-one program at Sioux Falls Christian. We think that that showed a great deal of support, and so we were excited to move forward with phase one. Then we did teacher training all of last year. Kristen Mulder and our IT department, Gerald Oudman and Ivan Voss, helped teachers to learn how to use the technology that we would be putting in students' hands, but also, and especially, Google Drive, which we've used a great deal this year. We've also added another piece called Hapara that we've been using this year, which has been a great addition to the management of files, but also supervision of students' use of the computers. Why one-to-one? Mostly, the most important part is for student growth. We want to build in their ability to collaborate with each other. We want them to communicate with each other and with their teachers. And we want them to learn discernment, because technology is very prevalent in today's society, and we want students to be able to use technology in a way that honors God and that is in obedience to His Word. So our vision statement has really 4 pillars. They are love, grow, go, and glorify. And really, the one-to-one program and everything we do needs to go through this lens. We want students to learn how to love one another and love God using technology. We want them to grow in their knowledge of technology. We want them to go and make disciples of all nations. Interestingly, with the cloud-based programs that there are and social networking, the largest untouched or unreached people is probably in the virtual world, in what could be called the Twitter sphere or in Facebook land. And so it's important for students to be able to go into that nation as well to make disciples. And finally, to glorify God in all that they do. The technology is very self-centered. You hear terms like selfies and I this and I that. It's important for us to keep our focus on God, because He is the one who made us, and we are to glorify Him, and that's why we exist. And so we want to teach students to do that through their technology use as well. So why Chromebooks? Maybe first of all, it would be good to explain what a Chromebook is. A Chromebook really is an internet access device. There really aren't programs running on the machines, and so one might ask, why would we choose that for education? Well, we talked to teachers who used technology a great deal in the last few years and asked them, what percentage of the things that you do with your class is online or on the internet? And 90 to 95% of the time they said, all the time. It's on the internet all the time. And so we really felt like we needed to have access to the internet more than anything else. Chromebooks also allow us to save a great deal in terms of cost. A normal laptop computer, well over $500, even a netbook, a small laptop. Whereas a Chromebook, we can save a great deal of money, which also improves the sustainability. Chromebooks help us to do so many things with collaboration, with research, and with writing that we didn't feel it was justified for us to spend the extra money on a machine that does things that weren't really necessary in the classroom. So what we've done so far, obviously I already talked about the training that we've done of staff. Kristen Mulder also got into classrooms the last few years and started training students in how to use Google Drive, and she continues to do that so that they are prepared to use it well and to use it wisely. We also did phase one with grades 8 through 10. We did a boot camp similar to this with those parents and students this past summer during registration. And then we gave them all Chromebooks. They've had them now for the first quarter of this year, and it's gone very well. We've been very happy with the lack of issues in terms of breakage or improper use. Part of it is we have a lot of safeguards in place in terms of our filters, and the Hapara management system really helps as well. So this phase one has gone well, so well in fact that many of our teachers teach students that are not in grades 8 through 10, and they have also been integrating technology into their class. And this has actually become kind of a nice problem, which is that students are having to check out computers from labs or from other classrooms, and that's become kind of a hassle. And so teachers are right on the edge of integrating technology even more into their classes, or even more effectively and with less interruption into class time. And so the thing that they said they need more of is access. That was why we started this program to begin with, was because students had the knowledge, teachers had the knowledge and desire to implement it, but they didn't have access to the machines without having to sign up weeks in advance and so on. This program with one-to-one all the way through the high school will allow teachers to say at a moment's notice, I need you to take out your Chromebooks for an activity. They can put them away and begin discussing things together and go back and forth very seamlessly. As far as the policies regarding Chromebooks, we have an acceptable use policy that everyone signed at registration, and that talks a lot about technology use in general and how to use it properly and what happens if they use it improperly. So that is in effect, and that's the overarching, the umbrella policy that goes over this program. We're also sending out a parent letter to all juniors and seniors and anyone else who was not physically at one of our boot camps, and that's just explaining our rationale and what we're going to be doing moving forward. And finally, we have a Chromebook policy, which we will send along with the letter, and we would love for all parents and students to read through this carefully and to sign that and turn it into room 201. It's very important that we all understand what the policies are and what fees there are and what the punishment might be if there is misuse of the technology, which we have not had hardly any of with our students thus far, which we're very excited about, and we feel like students are using them well and using them for great educational opportunities, and teachers are doing an awesome job of integrating. I look forward to hearing any input or feedback that you might have. My email address is jvann@siouxfallschristian.org. Again, that's jvann@siouxfallschristian.org. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ivan Voss, and I am the Technology Director for Sioux Falls Christian Schools. It's my job to make sure that all of this technology works as we implement it. So I want to go over just a few of the policies regarding the Chromebooks today. To start with, there's a technology fee, and this $75 technology fee is one that we felt was very reasonable and could help keep this program sustainable. We have made this technology fee only $35 for the juniors and seniors just for this year, because we're implementing this a little bit later than the other grades. Again, as I said, we want to make sure that this is sustainable, so that $75 technology fee helps pay for software and hardware and the maintenance of the whole system. That tech fee also, we believe, makes it very affordable for the parents. Other schools we know are charging anywhere from $200 up over $500 per year. But we really wanted to make this an affordable plan, and that's one of the reasons we went with Chromebooks. Along with that tech fee, we just want to make sure it's clear that this is not considered a purchase plan, and so that tech fee will reoccur every year, and at the end of the life of the device, we will decide what we're going to do with them. We're hoping to get at least 2 to 3 years out of these Chromebooks. And students will turn in the Chromebooks at the end of the year, and they will be looked over for any damage and make sure that everything's clean and ready to go. It's in proper functioning order for the following year. So proper care and handling. It's really, really important. We've had a great success so far. The students have done a great job of keeping their Chromebooks in good shape. So I just want to go through a few things. Number one, we've provided a case, and the case is a nice, soft, padded case. It's got a place for the charger. We've got a name tag. It's just a really good solid case. It's got a handle and it can slip into a book bag easily. We looked at a lot of cases and we felt like this one was going to give us good protection, and we just really want to make sure that that investment pays off and the students use it. So we strongly suggest that. There are several things that are really important that you do not do with the Chromebooks. And the first one, I'll pick up this Chromebook here. The first one is that you don't lift it by the screen. It's really important that when you pick up a Chromebook, the screens are pretty thin. And so lifting it by the screen and doing this with it will be a sure way to break the screen. So make sure that you lift by the base of the Chromebook, and that will keep it the screen from breaking. Another thing we'd really want to make sure that students pay attention to is not leaving them in vehicles. The weather here obviously gets very hot and very cold, and those extreme temperatures can wreak havoc on the Chromebooks, so we want to make sure that they take it in the house and in the school and inside at all times. We also want to make sure that, again, with the screen being very thin, you don't set heavy objects on top of it, and that includes stuffing it in a book bag with a lot of other big books, just paying attention to where the Chromebook is and making sure, again, that it's in the case. And lastly, we want you to keep this Chromebook clean. So please do not put stickers on it, write on it. You can personalize it digitally through the desktop and other themes, but do not put your own personal stickers or things like that on it. So if damage occurs, what happens? Well, we've come up with a plan, and we've decided not to purchase insurance. Insurance is very costly, and is one of those things that we didn't want to have to spend money that we didn't need to. Again, keeping the program affordable and sustainable. So we decided to kind of break it down into two levels. And level one is something that's happened to the Chromebook, but it can be repaired. For example, I mentioned the broken screen. That's probably the most common. If they break the screen, then it's level one, and we are going to charge $50 towards the cost of the repair of that. And it might cost us a little bit more, it might cost us a little bit less, but we're going to do a $50 charge, even if it's a little bit more than that. But again, this is at the level that something happened and it can be repaired. So maybe the keys don't work, or they got busted or something, and the keys can be replaced, or the screen can be replaced, or a power adapter got damaged, or something like that. Level two is if the Chromebook is lost or damaged beyond repair, and it's just not worth it to pay more money than what the device is worth, then we're going to have a $150 charge towards the replacement of the device. And again, we want to work with parents and students to keep this affordable, and so $150 doesn't cover the whole cost of the replacement for the device, but it does go a long way, and it does ensure, hopefully, that students will take good care of that. So again, kind of a level one and a level two, and so far we have not had anything turned in, which is really surprising. Kids have done a great job so far taking care of these devices, and we have not had anything turned in. And again, as I mentioned before, at the end of the school year, students will turn in their device, and we'll look them over to see if there is anything that needs to be replaced, because we want to make sure that we distribute them again the following year in the way that they came. So devices will be evaluated when they're turned in at the end of the year. I want to talk a little bit about Chrome management. The Chrome management allows us to make sure these are managed on our own domain, the siouxfallschristian.org domain. Chrome management gives us policies and things that we can set to help keep these students safe. We can push out apps, give teachers tools, give students tools that they need on the Chromebook. And lastly, we can update these things automatically. These Chromebooks get updated quite frequently, and it's really nice to be able to push out those updates, push out those apps and those policies right from within a management system, all online. So we don't have to collect the Chromebooks and make sure we do something on each one. That all gets done through the Chrome management system. And again, that's part of the reason for that tech fee, because there is a little bit of an expense for that. So that allows us to do a lot of things managing these Chromebooks. The Lightspeed filter is another device that we have in place at school here, and that content filter helps us filter content both on-site and off-site. And so students go home, they still log in to that content filter, and they are going to be filtered even at home. And we hope that this is something that parents will appreciate, because we're really trying to make this as safe as possible. We've also turned on the safe search options within the Chrome Management Console. And so we have those safeguards in place. This is only for the Chromebooks that the students are using. We, once in a while, will run reports from search queries. We can see what students are searching for. So we just want you to know that those are documented, and students should know that as well. And parental oversight, of course, is always very important. We can put all the safeguards in place as much as possible, but parental oversight and the way that the policies that you put in place in your own home are going to be very, very important. So with that, the last thing I have is that we've purchased teacher software, and the software is called Hapara. And this software allows us to organize and distribute files within Google Chrome, and it really gives the teachers a lot of power to communicate with the students, power to have some oversight and interaction actually with the Chromebooks in the classrooms. They can send them files. They could open up a web page for the whole class, or just send a student a message. They can also see screenshots during the school hours of what the students are doing to make sure they're on task. So Hapara teacher software is a very important tool, and that's something else we'll be utilizing. Again, we appreciate your cooperation with this whole one-to-one. We're happy that we can roll this out ahead of schedule, and we're happy. We've been very pleased so far with the progress that we've made, and with how kids are using them and teachers are using them in the classrooms. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Kristen Mulder, and I'm the Technology Integration Director here at Sioux Falls Christian Schools. Part of my job is to train the teachers on new technology tools that we have coming out, and to help them learn how to seamlessly integrate those tools into their curriculum. But I also get the awesome adventure of going into classrooms and partnering with the teachers to introduce the students to these new tools. One of the great tools that we have taken on in the past 2 years is Google Drive. And Google Drive is part of a cloud piece based tool that allows students to store and save items, as well as collaborate and share items. This tool is not new to our students this year with the Chromebooks. We did actually learn and work with some of it last year. So your students have been working with it for a while. The one change that we did do this year is that we changed our domain, and the students are very familiar with this, but we just share with you that we are now under our own Google Apps for Education domain. So the extension for all of our students' information is at SiouxFallsChristian.org. We have also then been able to give the students a Gmail account, but it's not a general Gmail account like the general public gets. It sits under our domain, and we are also able then, through some of the management systems, to keep that email into just receiving from and sending to other emails that are within our domain. So your students can only receive emails from others that have the at SiouxFallsChristian.org extension, as well as only send to those that have the at SiouxFallsChristian.org extension. We chose to use this tool because we wanted our students and our teachers to have a communication piece that they can utilize if they need to contact one another, if teachers need to ask students to turn in assignments that are missing, or if they just need to collaborate on a project. We also utilize some tools within Google Drive so that the students can create documents and presentations, as well as forms and drawings, and there are a lot of tools that come with it. This is my Google Drive, so it has a lot of things in it, maybe a few more than your student's Drive will, but I would like for you to see that through the middle there are some folders, so you're been working with your child to help them get organized. So we have some naming processes, and we have them organize their information into folders. And for some students, it's been really effective to help them to keep things organized. There are also some opportunities. They don't have to have everything in a folder, so they'll have some loose items, and that's okay. You see that there are different icons here. That's for the different tools that we can upload and save and create. We can even utilize some of the Microsoft products here in with Google Drive. What they can do then, and I'm just going to choose my boot camp itinerary, what we've been speaking to you about today. And if I open that, it launches into another tab. And if I were to work on that, I could collaborate with the other people that were going to be speaking. If I wanted to share that with Mr. Van Nieuwenhuizen and Mr. Voss, as they were going to be presenting as well, in the upper right-hand corner there's a share button. So this is what your student would do as well if they wanted to share with other partners in their group, or if they wanted to share with their teachers. I click that share button and it's going to load a dialog box, and this is where the students would enter the email addresses. And again, these are locked down to our @siouxfallschristian.org domain, and they can email or share this item with either a teacher or other students that they are collaborating with. Once they've entered that information and chosen done, that particular file then will be dropped into the Google Drive of those other recipients, and then they can work on it together at the same time. If Mr. Van Nieuwenhuizen and Mr. Voss were working on this file at the same time right now, I would see every move that they were making on my screen. If they were to delete a word, I would see that on my screen, even though they're not right here with me and we're not working on the same computer. Likewise, if this were something I handed in to a teacher and they wanted to give me some comments and tell me that maybe I wasn't headed in the right direction, or encourage me that what they see is something that is really going to be a great product at the end, in the upper right hand corner they can choose the option for a comment, and then they can leave a comment off to the right hand side of the screen, and then that comment will show up on my screen while I'm working. So it helped me to have that immediate feedback and redirect me if necessary, or encourage me to continue on in the work I am doing. This is just one of many tools that we utilize here with Google Drive. You'll see that if I choose Create on the left-hand side, there's a lot of different things that offer opportunity for students to use the gifts that God has given them. Again, we encourage you to look into these things with your student, and we encourage you to ask any questions that you have of us, but we are very encouraged by what has taken place here and the way that the teachers are seamlessly using these tools, and we just hope that you will partner with us and see some of these incredible things that we can do now with technology. And we thank you for your support.